A call to action has been proposed to prevent gender-based violence at the 5th National Men and Boys Parliament at the KwaZulu-Natal legislature. The programme falls under Sectoral Parliaments and is coordinated by the men's sector of the SANAC Civil Society Forum, working in partnership with stakeholders that champion programmes for men and boys. Held under the theme, Raising Accountable Boys, Building Responsible Men, the Parliament brings together men and boys from all 9 provinces to deliberate on social challenges such as gender-based violence, toxic masculinity, HIV prevention and the socialisation of the boy child. To talk more about this now, we're joined by Beau Nkaelang, SANAC Men's Sector Chairperson. Good evening and thanks for joining us here on Late Edition. What are you hoping to achieve with programmes like the National Men and Boys Parliament?
What we are hoping to achieve, one of the issues that we spoke about is mentoring boy child. Because some of the other issues which cropped up during the conversations yesterday, it was a day where we said it's going to be the Boys Parliament, the first opening day, then the next day, which was today, it was the day where men as well and also serious and robust engagement. But the first day we allowed boys to have those conversations because they should be raising their own issue, but some of the critical issues which came out there, boys were crying that they are growing up without guidance of their fathers. Some of them grew up with their fathers. Now what they are doing, they are emulating all the negative things that they see in society. They get involved in drugs, they get involved in crime because of lack of mentorship. So in order for us to curb the stage of gender-based violence, we have a sole responsibility as a men's sector to make sure we mitigate the impact of gender-based violence. But how do we mitigate the impact of gender-based violence? It's not just by having a conversation in one day. Yes, if you go to Parliament, it's an apex level where we are able to influence policy direction, but meaningfully on the ground. How do we translate that into action? Is to make sure we involve communities, we involve our ward committees, we involve even the local churches within our society. We even encourage the very same religious leaders when they are in their different churches, they have a meaningful responsibility to talk about gender-based violence. Because where there is gender-based violence, obviously, there is a new HIV infections, which also leads to partners getting involved into gender-based violence. We don't want the parliaments that we are hosting, they should just be a talk exercise, but we want this parliament, post this parliament, we must have a plan of action which should be taken throughout the entire communities.
Beau, this year's theme is Raising Accountable Boys, Building Responsible Men. Tell us a bit more about that and why that was chosen as the theme this year.
Yes, we need to raise boys who are very much accountable. But these boys, for them to be accountable, we need to educate these boys. We need to inculcate a spirit of sisterhood and brotherhood. We need to inculcate the spirit of programs that deals with boys championing change. And these are also some of the other programs which are led by the Department of Social Development. Now, when you raise a responsible boy, you give this boy information, you educate this boy, you mentor this boy. Now, when you build a responsible man, we have launched a campaign, Better Men for Tomorrow. This campaign is addressing a family tree. This campaign is primary role as well is to transform the mindset of men. We want when men are seen in society, in communities, men should not be seen as perpetrators of crime, but men should be seen as protectors of society, as protectors of women, as protectors of girl child. We don't want a man who says you want to be a better man, but when you see a little girl, then you see that little girl as your wife. Those are the things that we are discouraging in this process. That is why it's not everyone who is able to attend the parliament. The few that are attending the parliament, their roles and responsibilities as well is to go back and impart the information that they have received. We must have dialogues within their different respective communities so that there should be a proper flow of information.
What are some of the issues that men face that were discussed? I know earlier we spoke about child-headed households. Can you tell us a few more?
Child-headed household, it is a problem because some of these other young girls, they are responsible to take responsibility of their household responsibilities without proper guidance. And those responsible for the child-headed household, we are taking advantage of the situation which these young girls find themselves in their different houses. That is why we need to make sure government should come on board, private sector should come on board, the community should come on board, churches should come also on board, but because if we neglect looking into that direction, we are going to open up doors where these young girls are going to sell themselves in order to survive. Because when there is no food in the house, you can do whatever means for you to be able to get resources to take care of the household. That is why we are partnering as well with the Department of Social Development, because they also have programs that are dealing with young girls, young boys, including men as well, with their men championing change programs.
And lastly, how important is it to raise boys the correct way to guarantee a great future for the country?
The Better Men for Tomorrow campaign is addressing a family tree. That is why from a starting point, we always say, when I'm as a father goes to a health facility as part of mentoring, as part of teaching my boy child to take care of his health, is to go with him to the different facilities. By mentoring a young boy as well, is to take this young boy to a workplace to experience the working environment. But the other responsibilities that we need to do, we are encouraging men to enter into a mentoring program for a period of 12 months. When you mentor this young boy, one, you are focusing on Ubuntu, two, you are focusing on education, because without education, tomorrow you'll be sitting in a corner and complaining and say, there is no work for me because you refuse to go to school as a young boy. So those are part of the responsibilities that we are inculcating into our boys by giving them information that is going to be meaningful in their life tomorrow. And in order for them, when they see also these young girls, they should not abuse these women. They should see these young girls as their sisters.
Thank you so much for chatting to us this evening on Late Edition. That was Beau Nkaelang, SANAC Men's Sector Chairperson.